I wanted to kind of give my opinion on this X-Ride after having it for a long-term use. I've really enjoyed this machine, and I've had several Hustlers and tested almost every one of them they've had out. I really, at least in their high-end stuff, but I really like a lot of things about the Hustler. One of the things that they do really well is ride quality. And what we're going to be looking at today is an X-Ride. If you haven't seen anything prior on the channel, I've got a bunch of, Hustler hyperdrive content, it compared with other mowers. But the hyperdrive used to be the only unit with a 26-inch tire on it. And then they come out with the X-Ride, which is this one. Now, the X-Ride and the hyperdrive and the super, so you've got X-Ride, the super, and then the hyperdrive, they all have 26-inch tires on them, and you can either get a 60 or a 72-inch deck. But like I said, today, we're going to be focusing on the X-Ride, and I'll give you the things that I really like, some things that I wish they would add to the X-Ride. I'm sure they're not going to, because it would be pushing it on up in the line. But these run I see them online anywhere from 14.5 to 16.5. It seems like that's the going rate for these machines and what they charge for them. I really like how this machine drives. It does really well. Now, it has the ZT5400 pumps on it. One of the things that I've never been a fan of is the hydro gear wheel pump and motor, or the integrated unit together with a 24-inch tire like that comes on the Cheetah, comes on the Husqvarna Z560s. It comes on a ton of units. Most of them have a 24-inch tire on them. The 26 really smooths out the ZT5400 pump. Now, one of the things I will say about the ZT5400 pump, and from everything that I've looked at so many things online trying to figure out all the nooks and crannies of these mowers and how their integration of these different pumps, wheel motors, all the things that make them function the way they do. Now, one of the things that I've come to the conclusion on is these Hydro Gear 5400 pumps are very, very power hungry. So when you get these pumps, you want to have a high-end motor. Like, one of the things that I see people make a bad decision on is they'll go get a hyperdrive or something like that and have a 28 or 29 horse motor on it. I would never get that, because the one thing is your pumps pull a lot of, juice, the bigger the pumps. And the ZT5400, like on this, the hyperdrive has a totally different setup on it, but it's still, the bigger the pumps you have, they've got 21cc pumps on them, so it takes more horsepower to pull them. Now, one of the things that I've noticed is this has a 34.5 horse, which is Evo's, highest end fuel injection motor that they've got. Now, they haven't got an Evo series any higher than this, and this is made to compete with like the 35 horse carb motors and things like that. And then you've got their 38.5 that isn't the Evo series. But when you get these Hydro Gear pumps, from everything I've seen online, these pumps pull at least 6 to 9 horsepower per unit. So by the time you deduct that power to run this thing, you need a bigger motor on them. Now, I do wish that they would put a little bit bigger motor on this X-Ride. I don't think that they will, because that's going to push it up into the super and hyperdrive territory, whereas you can get the 38 and 40 horse motor on them. As far as the weight of this machine, this weighs as much as a hyperdrive with this littler motor. and this unit weighs anywhere from, I think it's like 16 to 1700 pounds. So it's a pretty heavy unit. Now, the machine rides extremely well. It's a little bit shorter than a hyperdrive is. And I really like this machine for mowing and cutting grass. I really hate that they took away the 66-inch cut. I would love to have a new hyperdrive with a 66-inch cut. But one of the things I really like about Hustler's deck is it does really good in about any condition overall. And as you can see, I've had a ton of mowers out, and there has only been a couple of mowers in certain scenarios that have done better in, grass, in thick grass or wet grass. And one of the things I like about that, Hustler, Scag, there's a few others, but on their decks, they have this plate here, and you can move this plate up or down. Now, also, when you drop that lip, it won't let as much debris blow out in your face because it's going to keep it all on the deck and swirl it out. Now, you don't want to drop that down if you're cutting it 1.5 to 2 inches. But as far as this machine, I would love if they put a little bit bigger motor on it, because when I do hills and stuff like that, I can really tell that the weight, the 26-inch tires, and the 34.5 motor, one of the things that I really noticed is we had an X-Mark out here, and it did, almost as good as this climbing the hills, but it would actually cut and keep its RPM better in thick grass versus even this 34.5 horse Evo with a 25.5 or 26 horse 850 or 820V. Can't even remember what it had on it, but it was a carbureted motor. Now, another thing I will say is the carbureted motor seems to just, so what they do with these electronic ones is it tries to judge off load. So the problem you see with it is if you're cutting and you're cutting really fast and hard, the machine may start to bog down and then rev up. Whereas a carburetor is just, if you throttle all the way up, it keeps it all the way up the whole time. It doesn't try to fluctuate horsepower regardless of what you're doing. Now, I do like the tie downs on this mower. You've got them in the rear. You've got them up here at the front here, and they do include a little rubber piece here. It doesn't cover the whole thing. I don't know why they didn't cover that whole piece with it, or just get a two-sided push-in piece that would go all the way around that. That would have been a little bit nicer. It's on both sides. This mower has full adjustable handles. You can adjust them backside, your height, everything on there. This mower, you do sit a little bit higher, and it doesn't have a suspension seat. But another thing is I really like how high the deck goes on this mower. It goes up to, on the thing, 5.5 at lockout. And you can mow there if you want to. I've even had to mow my grass at lockout like that. Now, like the Scag Cheetah and several others only go to 5 inches. And another thing, like on the Cheetah, the Turf Tiger, all Scag units, I think, and most other mowers, there's nothing, this one too, there's nothing that keeps that deck locked into position. That's one thing that has always drove me nuts coming from an X-Mark in the beginning, is when you get on here and you set your deck, let's say you put it at 4 1/4 and you hit a bump going really fast, that deck can jump all the way out like that and lock out, and you're not going to notice it because it just pops up so fast and goes in lockout. That's one of the things that annoys me about this mower. And, I want to give all this info. So, I know mowing season's coming up. A lot of people are trying to choose mowers and stuff. But I do like, one thing is they've got the analog, like the old school gas things on here. They've tried digital and several other things, and the digital ones a lot of times have trouble. So these are kind of bulletproof for long-term use. I like the visibility with this mower. You can see really well when you're mowing. The handles feel great. The seat feels great. The armrests feel great. There's plenty of adjustability on the armrest. You can adjust them right through here at different positions. You know, when you spin that, each turn gives you a different angle. See how it's sitting higher or lower. I do prefer the screw system that come on the older ones, but this works just fine. You can adjust it, I think, 4 different ways or 5. I much prefer a mower with pneumatic tires. This mower has pneumatic tires, and one of the reasons I like that is because it helps the ride. A lot of your mowers come with solid front tires, or they come with just hard tires in the front. So if you're a homeowner and you're mowing your yard all the time and you're not sticking it in big briars or things of that nature, but my grass is, extremely good grass and it's thick. I don't really have to worry about puncturing holes in there. Now, as far as the deck and how it's hung, this has the bolts in it. This is super easy to adjust this deck. So I've got a video on that. I'll link that in the description on the bio. One of the things that could be better is to make these quick removal, like on Exmark. I really like that. You just pull the cover off on the Exmark, and it's like a plastic cover. I get these are super industrial, but when you're cleaning this, nobody wants to have to take an extra step and back these nuts off and then pull this up and then try to realign it. The Exmark's on just so much easier to do, and it's smoother, and so I really like that. Now, as far as the gas tanks and things like that, this has 2 on each side. I prefer a single tank, but they couldn't do it on something like this. I get why not, and so it just is what it is. Exmark has a single tank. The Turf Tiger has a single tank. There's a few others in the industry that has a single tank, but as far as the seat, how it's adjustable, and the ride on this, if you don't know, there is an adjustable like shock thing down here. This lets you adjust the ride of this entire platform. So this entire platform here rides, and it floats on a shock that's under the seat. It's got 5 adjustable settings. As far as ride quality goes, I have had a ton of mowers out here, and this is one of the top riding mowers. It rides better than a Scag Cheetah. It rides better than a Bobcat ZT 7000. It rides better than the Bad Boys. It rides better than most of the units we've had out. Some of the top mowers as far as ride quality has been Ferris's number one. There is absolutely nothing that rides as good as a Ferris. I don't care what it is. It's not even possible, matter of fact, because it's like an A-arm setup and all 4 corners can move. So if you want the best ride quality, then a Ferris is it. But the cut quality on a Ferris wasn't near as good as this or the Scag or Exmark or, quite a few mower companies. But I really like this mower. Just want to kind of give you guys a rundown. The pulleys on it are big. Like I say, if you watch my stuff, a lot of this is going to be a retake for you. But for a lot of people that are looking into getting mowers and stuff, this would make someone an excellent mower. Now, the spindles are greasable. So these spindles are greasable. Scag's greasable. Most of them are greasable. Exmark is not. Now, some people are going to like it. Some people aren't. And also, look at the hangers, all the build on there and everything, the deck, how thick it is. You've got a massive skirt and sheeting up and under here. Before you ever get into your actual deck, you would have to bend almost 2.5 to 3 inches of steel back because you've got a whole wind tunnel that wraps up and under the front of this. Now, if you guys want to hear my thoughts on which to buy coming from a Super Z, a Hyperdrive, or the X-Ride, stay tuned for the next couple of videos, because I'm going to give the rundown on those 3 units and why I would buy one over the other, and also some of the things that they could do better on each unit in comparison. But I've got some more video coming on this Super Z. You can see my stripes now, and I really like the wide cut of this mower. It's a 72 inch. We're gonna try get some 72 inch comparisons going for you guys. If you got any comments or questions or anything, let me know, and I'll try to get the mower company that you like out. The more you share the videos and like them, the more attention they get, which brings the companies that want to, showcase their mowers for you guys to see. So just try to like and share the video if you're able to. Thank you very much, and God bless.